I'm going to talk about and why. This photograph here is of a lovely building in London. It's our Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and it's an area within it called Durbar Court. And all of the people who you see standing there on the floor are ministers of education from around the world. And they gather every January in London for the Education World Forum. And it is from the speakers who were at the event this year that I want to draw some ideas for this particular presentation. I was very struck by the first statement in the description of what this session would be about. Today, education is an investment for the future and is a key priority for parents. What does that actually mean? Do we really believe it? Should we really believe it? I want to draw, first of all, on a little bit of, well, fun, if you like, and explain to you that what you see on the screen now is a piece of art. It does actually exist. It's in the middle of a roundabout near my office in London. And as you see, it's traffic lights pointing in all directions, and the lights go on and off in a random fashion. And I think it's the best explanation of education that you can find anywhere. Because actually, the point about education, when you bring together all of the issues around the fact that our teachers are individuals, our learners are individuals, our education systems are all different because we are all serving different countries with different economies, then you realise that actually that does represent a reflection that there is no one size that fits all in education. But the first person I want to draw on is a gentleman called Professor Eric Hanishek. He's a professor at Stanford University, and he has looked at the statistics for country investment in education over 50 years. And it was a startling graph that he showed all of the ministers who were in London in January, when he put a chart up on the screen showing a direct relationship between investment in education and economic prosperity in individual countries. But he started his presentation with an introduction making some important points. Development does equal growth. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And therefore, when we talk about any development in education, whether it is a Minister of Education deciding education policy, or whether it is an individual teacher making a decision to do something slightly different in their classroom, something that improves education, development in the end will equal growth. The next thing that he talked about was the Finance Minister challenge. Finance ministers in virtually every government around the world love the idea of questioning why public money is being spent on any public service. But the question you need to ask a finance minister today is not just can we afford more spending on education, but can we afford not to improve our schools? Can we afford not to invest? And then when it comes down through the system, again, it's not just what gets said at a national level. It comes down to the decision making in an individual institution, in an individual school. Are we actually making the right investment decisions that will really help our pupils? So, this was the chart that he then showed, and I don't expect you to be able to read everything here, but he was looking at, first of all, growth country growth, economic growth, plotted against test scores of children. And he shows over a 50-year period this incredibly straight line, and you won't be surprised to find that some of the countries that in the BESA results are always the ones that come out on top in terms of test scores, the likes of Korea, of parts of China, Taiwan for example, they of course have had phenomenal economic growth. And it is a demonstration when you go on to look at